I'm 30, my wife is 34, and her sister Alexa is 19. We got married 2 years ago, but we've known each other for a long time. My wife's parents live abroad, and they have a business there. 12 years ago, they sent Alexa to the US to live with my wife and get her education. My wife is pretty much her only parent. She does everything for Alexa. I'll be honest, Alexa is a brat who honestly gets on my nerves. It's like she exists to make my wife's life miserable. She's arrogant, rude, entitled, and nasty. She constantly broke the rules, and none of her teachers ever liked her. She refused therapy, and I'm amazed at my wife's patience and kindness because this girl was a nightmare. The second Alexa went to college, we got married. She came home for Thanksgiving, probably skipping classes, came to me this weekend, and confessed her feelings for me. She said it was clear that I liked her more, and she wanted to let me know how she felt. She wanted to know if I felt the same way she does, which is an absolute no. Apparently, I treated her so much better than my wife when she was growing up. I tried to be nice to her because she's my wife's sister. I'd take her out once in a while to give my wife/girlfriend a break. When my wife would try to tutor Alexa, and she wouldn't even do her work and fail half her classes, I told her to let it go. I lost it and told her I didn't like her. I never liked her. And I was only nice to her because it would make my wife happy. I told her I only put up with her spoiled self to be with my wife, and I was annoyed whenever she intruded. Alexa started sobbing and ran out. I told my wife everything, and she said I was right to turn her down, but didn't have to be so harsh. She thanked me for being honest. Her parents are furious. I've gotten weird text messages from what I suspect are Alexa's friends. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Who tells her sister's husband, I want to get with you, and thinks things will end well? Come on. Don't be alone with her ever again. Her word's against yours. Alexa has the hots for you? Wow. Please keep far away. She's trouble that you don't need in your life. For real, her sister took her in and took care of her when she had no obligation to, and this girl tries to home wreck their relationship? So vile. I wonder why his wife isn't more upset. I would take it a step further, and if ever alone with the sister-in-law for whatever reason, start recording audio and visual. If she's as bratty as OP says, you have to be careful at all times with her. Easily could make false accusations. Yeah, I thought that Alexa was just spoiled and was telling OP he was nicer to her than Sis, because perhaps Sis tried to impose discipline every once in a while, or at least told her that she couldn't fulfill her demands. Instead, we get the truth, that Alexa wants OP, despite knowing he's married and that he's known her since she was a child. Yikes! OP, please be careful with this girl. She could cause you some major problems. She was trying to break up your marriage with her sister? That's seriously messed up, and you're justified. She told you this in hopes that you'd start an affair or leave your wife just before the holiday. Was it harsh of you? Yes, but you had every reason to be upset at the thought that she was taking kind things that you had done to help your wife as signs that you wanted to betray her instead. Poor kid. She needed therapy years ago for her feelings of abandonment. Clearly, she's confused romantic feelings with affection, and you must be careful now. I'm kind of cracking up at the fact that her parents are furious. So she went and told her parents? Parents, I'm distraught. I put myself out there and confessed to your other daughter's husband, my brother-in-law, how I feel about him, and he turned around and was mean to me. Can you believe that? What a jerk. Poor me. I bet she completely skipped over the part where she confessed her love to him and only told them about how out of the blue he was nasty to her when she visited him for Thanksgiving. OP, your wife needs to set up some brutal boundaries, because with her saying that you were too harsh, for me, that's a huge flag. Your wife needs to wake up and get some common sense about this weird thing. I have 2 daughters, April 18 and Jade 18. I'm a single mom. April and Jade's dad and I got divorced around 13 years ago as he was having an affair. He's never been in the picture for either of our girls after that. 2 years ago, April unexpectedly got pregnant. I took her to counseling to help her organize her thoughts and figure out what she wanted to do, and April decided she wanted to keep the baby. The pregnancy and birth went smoothly, and I now have a grandson, Ollie. The father is involved, but he and April are no longer together. Ollie stays with his dad every weekend, and the dad's parents give April money to go towards Ollie's expenses. Earlier this year, April graduated high school. She's been taking care of Ollie during the week, but other than that, she hasn't been up to much. She keeps saying she'll start looking for a job, but has yet to start writing her resume. Besides taking care of Ollie, she sits at home watching TV. On multiple occasions, April has tried to leave Ollie with Jade so that she can go out partying, which has led to huge arguments. Last week, I talked to April, and I told her that she needs to get a job or go to our local community college, and I'll foot the bill for any childcare she needs for it to happen. I told her she needed to get a job or go to college to stay here. April got upset and said that she doesn't want a job or to go to college. She said she just wants to be a mom. She told me it could wait until Ollie started school. I told her no, and that she needed to start something so that she could support herself and be an independent adult. April said that I'm being unreasonable and that these things could wait until Ollie was in school full time. She said that I was asking her to damage him and that he needed his mom. It's not that I don't want April and Ollie here. I love them both. I think I'd be setting a bad precedent by allowing April to stay with me with no job and no education. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your daughter has a baby yet acts like one herself. Your daughter had a baby and needs to understand, full stop, that she doesn't just get to be a mom. She's single and living at home with her own mother. She's being unreasonable, selfish, and lazy to expect you to support her while she lazes around unemployed until her child gets to school age. I would tell her, sure, I'd love to sit around and watch TV all day too, but it's a good thing for you that I don't. Let me be clear, I'm not asking. You're not unique. Single moms everywhere go to work to support their kids. Ollie will be just fine. Also, since you're acting like a child, I'm banning you from the TV. Also, Jade will be paid to babysit. If you can't afford her, then don't ask her. You need to own up to your responsibilities. If she wants to be a stay-at-home mom, then she needs to find a wealthy enough partner who consents to that decision. On the other hand, if she depends on you for her livelihood, then she can follow your guidelines. She chose to have this baby, so she should be providing for him. Unfortunately, that's the bare minimum when it comes to being a parent. My family is conservative, so my childhood and adolescence was basically a nightmare. I was forced to do all the chores while my two brothers weren't. I didn't go no contact with my parents, Dad 63 and Mom 60, because it's necessary not to cut contact with them. I'm the only one who lives in the same city. The others live too far away. On Saturday the other week, my parents called me saying that there was a problem with the electrical part in their house, and they begged me to let them stay at my house for 4 days, as they'd be spending a lot of money to fix it, and they couldn't afford to stay at the hotel. I agreed, but said I had my routine and I wouldn't be helping my father. They agreed. On the first day, it was pretty okay, and my mom did everything for my dad. The next day, my mom had to make an emergency trip to her sister. Her sister paid for her to go, and she lives in another city, in the morning. I went to work and had lunch at the company. When I got home, my father said, "Wow, I thought you'd never come. Can you make something for me? I just ate what your mother made for lunch in the morning." Keep in mind that my fridge was full, and my father knows how to cook, in addition to knowing how to use the cell phone, internet. He just didn't want to do it because my mother does everything. Me, "Look, Dad, I'm really tired. Besides, I'm leaving here in an hour." It was 6 p.m. He started to complain, saying that he would get hungry and that I should make him some food for lunch and dinner. My role as a woman, blah, blah, blah. I just replied, "You have hands, you have a telephone, and there's a pizzeria contact on the fridge if you don't want to make food. But I won't make it." The night was good, and I only returned at 1 a.m. My father was already sleeping, and my mom didn't come back. I woke up late, so I just ran to work without even saying hello to him, so I didn't pay attention to anything. As the day before, I ate at work. When it was about 4 p.m., My mother called me screaming, saying that my father was dizzy with hunger because I refused to make him anything, and I knew he doesn't do those things, so it wouldn't cost me anything to make even a basic snack for him, but I preferred to let him starve. I pointed out what I said before they came, and she started saying that this was negligence with an older adult who could do everything. They left before I got home and stayed at a random person's house. My brothers are giving me crap, accusing me of being petty and vindictive, just like my parents. I don't think I'm wrong, but I would like outside perspective. Am I the idiot? Elderly? 83 is elderly, not 63. Not the idiot. Your father is a grown man. He could make something for himself, but he chose to get into a power struggle with you in your own home while they were staying with you. Good for you for standing up for yourself. Yeah, and if your brothers won't back off, I would tell them they're either perfectly capable of moving back home or moving your parents out to them to take care of them properly, or they're capable of shutting up and letting you deal with your dad's petty tantrums as you see fit. Hilarious. As if the dad is so helpless, he not only can't prepare a meal, he can't eat anything. He's so hungry that he's dizzy, but he can't grab a carrot or something. So what's to happen if your mother unexpectedly passes before him? Are you to answer every little thing? A grown man can figure it out or starve. I'm sure he showers himself. If he can't feed himself, that's his problem. My goodness. I think I saw his picture under the definition of weaponized incompetence. Sorry about your family dynamics. You were clear when they asked to stay with you. If they choose to ignore that, it's on them. Starving? With a fridge full of food? Really? Wow. You could have at least made him a snack? Are you kidding me? What is he, 5 years old? Sounds like your father is a petulant child and trying to make some absolutely ridiculous point about superiority by refusing to help himself. Good for you for standing up to them and calling out their BS. Just wow. I, female 30, run a small online business from home. November and December are my busiest times of the year. This year, I moved in with my boyfriend, 35. Well, technically he moved in with me because I own the house, so it was a no-brainer for him to move in with me. We split chores half and half. He works full-time, 37 and a half hours a week. When he moved in, I let him know that I couldn't do any chores in November, December, and asked if he could pick up the slack because I'm physically unable to do any chores, as I can be working anything from 12 to 18 hours a day. I take a full January off to decompress. He said he doubted I worked that much, but we'll see. I asked again in September and October to make sure he was aware that I wouldn't be doing anything. I meal prepped in advance, and I felt he kind of dismissed me. Mid-November, we argued about my chores not being done, and I reminded him of what I told him. He said that he thought I wasn't being serious and told me there's no way he'd do 100% of the chores because he was working too. I said, fine, don't do my chores. They can wait until I have time. That's how it was when I lived alone. No problem. I don't make much of a mess anyway. He wasn't happy, but dropped it. We haven't seen each other much because I've been working so much, but he's been more and more angry, and he blew up at me today regarding the chores. He said I have to have a better work-life balance and grew up because the house was a mess. I told him it was his fault if it was a mess because I had barely left my office. He called me a lazy witch. Finally, I told him I didn't have time to argue and went back to work. He stood in front of my locked office door, shouting how he couldn't believe I was being serious about not doing chores, and it was an idiot move to leave it all to him. He thinks I'm a major idiot for basically disappearing for 2 months and following through with the not doing chores. Am I really the idiot for saying I won't do chores and following through? Not the idiot. Wow, anyone who called me a lazy witch for refusing to clean up their mess when I was working 12 to 18-hour days would be out of my house so fast that the door would hit them on the way out. Your boyfriend is showing his true colors. Believe him. I know that right now you don't have time to rearrange your life, but once January comes around, you should give yourself the gift of losing the deadbeat boyfriend. For what it's worth, I'm married, and my husband and I have gone through times when we had to pick up the slack for each other for whatever reason. And it's not always a work reason. There could be health issues, the birth of a child, travel, and a billion other things that come up. Instead, your boyfriend is showing you that he'll throw a fit and call you names whenever he needs to support you. This is bad. Bad. It should be a deal breaker. This. If you stay with him, this will be your life every winter for the rest of your life. I also get the feeling that this guy will try to make it even after this by making you do all the chores for the next few months. Also, he should be paying rent. It doesn't matter that you own the house outright. You told him repeatedly. He chose to blow that off. That's when the reality hit of what you had repeatedly told him. He called you names and told you to grow up in your own house. It's not even about whether you can do the chores or not. It's about how he handles things he doesn't want to hear and how he reacts and treats you when the reality hits the fan. I'd be rethinking this whole relationship. You definitely deserve better, OP. I am a person of color, and my husband is white. We have 3 kids and they are white passing. No one ever realizes that they aren't 100% white. Recently, I got a call from my teen son's school. He apparently got into a verbal and almost physical fight with some kid because they called me awful things. Basically, a teacher was talking about the country I'm from for some reason, and a kid made a stupid joke. Like it wasn't one of those jokes you can maybe brush off. It was bad. My son went, "What?" And the kid asked why he was so offended. So he said that he's literally mixed and that his mom is of that race. The kid then said some more nasty things about me, and my son lost it. My son only got a stern talking to, and the other kid got suspended. The kid's mom contacted me and apologized, but then she told me she wanted my son to apologize and promised to leave him alone. I asked if she was being serious, and her reasoning was that my son is a popular athlete, and her kid is a shy, quiet kid, and she's terrified school will be worse for him now. She said that he made a mistake, but he didn't deserve to be shunned for it. I just went, "Your child was pretty bold for a shy, quiet kid. I'm not making my son do crap." She gasped, obnoxiously, and immediately began insulting me and saying that I was being unfair, selfish, etc., that her kid is being punished and that he's still learning. I just hung up on her. She sent me a long text after saying the same things and asking me to understand / implying that I'm an idiot. My friends say that I am kind of an idiot and I should think about it as her kid is only a teen and my son will be all right either way. And I don't know, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. How shy is this kid really? Not shy enough not to make insulting jokes, then continue to do so when being called out. Her son is a bigot idiot. So if he gets shunned, it's not because your son is popular. It's because he's an idiot and nobody likes idiots. Her son was the one who made awful remarks. He will learn that in this world there are consequences for actions, and being shunned for what he did is the consequence. You're not being selfish. Why should your son apologize for defending his mother from vile insults? Mid-teens is old enough to know better and learn from his mistakes. By the way, the apple never falls far from the tree. The kid probably got his attitude from his parents.